Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to The Money Cure. I'm your host, Sean Roberto Grant. Roberto. It's been a minute. Much like on the other podcast that I was doing, it has been a minute, long time, but been busy and busy not doing a whole lot other than really just connecting and embodying a deeper sense of love and just really developing, I feel like, such a dynamic relationship with the concept of money. Thank you in advance, guys, for choosing to listen to this podcast because, you know, my primary objective is, one, to use money as not just a tool, but money is something that you can have a relationship with, right? Just as much as you can have a relationship with your wife, your husband, your kids, your job, whatever it is, you can have a relationship with it. And to have a loving relationship with it means that you can prosper in a place where life becomes more enjoyable. Because let's just be honest with you. If you're listening to me as I'm doing this, you would agree with me when I say the more money you have, the more of life you can enjoy, period. You know, like that's just how it is, whether people want to accept it or not. That is the truth of what is. So my goal is to get you to have as much as you need and choose to have, and to be able to do as much good with it for yourself and for your family as you decide to do it. Because why not? That's why we're here, to enjoy life, and I really want you to enjoy it. So, long-winded. Anywho, life is good. Life is prosperous. Everything is fantastic. Hope the same for you. We're diving into forgiveness today. And the reason I want to dive into forgiveness, because forgiveness is one of the greatest aspects as it relates to the idea of wealth, prosperity, abundance, and money, and also health, right? It's amazing what forgiveness can do for all those areas. But for the sake of this being a money podcast, we're going to show you what it does for money. So forgiveness basically is you giving yourself the opportunity to love yourself through all circumstances, through all instances, right? And so I just got off the actors area, my other podcast, and we were talking about reclaiming your power and taking 100% responsibility for everything that you are involved in, okay? And so what that means is that when you begin to really take responsibility for everything that happens to you, regardless if it's your fault or not. We don't like to use the word fault because that sucks. But when you take full responsibility for it, something magical happens. And that magical thing is all of a sudden you're freed from giving your power away to something outside yourself, right? So the pandemic is a perfect example. Coronavirus basically hit and ransacked the entire world. And the number one theme that I saw was people blaming the government, people blaming the virus. Blame. If you stick with the energy of blame, you're going to be stuck on the consciousness scale really low. When I say conscious, I mean the David Hawkins scale that he created. But in that blame comes the energy that lowers you to the point where you just become helpless, right? And you're unable to take your own power. And if you're not able to claim your own power, all of a sudden you fall into anger, you fall into resentment, you fall into getting upset at, i.e. the government. You start getting upset at politicians. You start getting upset at everybody on the outside because they are the blame for where you are right now financially, and they can just piss off. And that's what happens, right? That's what happens unless we recalibrate the energy and we understand that this is happening because it has to happen. The universe makes no mistakes. The universe allows everyone to have free will, but then works it out in our favor completely in every sense of the word. But we have to stay in vibrational harmony with what the divine is doing, right? Because if not, guess what? We suffer. We falter. We fall into depression. We fall into having mental illness, right? All these things begin to happen. And then we find ourselves in a bit of a rut, okay? So before I go too far off tangent, what I really want to say in that regard is this. So take yourself back to 2020. And I'm just going to be real and upfront with you. It was likely one of my greatest years because it showed me what I could do when I'm backed against the wall, when I feel like I'm out of resources and I got to pull resources out of myself. That's why, to me, that was one of the greatest years possible. Just possible. But for others, maybe not so much. Maybe you're pissed off at President Trump, right? Maybe you're pissed off at Dr. Fauci, or maybe you're pissed off at your employer, maybe you're pissed off at your parents, whoever it is. I know the majority of people are pissed off. Not to mention there was race wars going on as well. You might be pissed off at that. So guess what? Your energy's tightened. Your energy is unable to flow. Now, in some cases, for a lot of people, this blocks your financial flow. Other people, it could be in their relationships, could be in their health. But I mean, your health is a direct correlation to what your finances do. Whenever I'm extraordinarily healthy, I'm extraordinarily rich. If I start to fall victim to bad health, then all of a sudden my flow dissipates, right? And I bet you any money it's the same for a lot of other people as well. But ultimately, you got stagnated energy. You're in battles on social media trying to figure out who's right and who's wrong and what you're going to do with this and what you're going to do with that. And then guess what? It does you no good. It just keeps you on that scale of blame, fault, discuss, hate, and you never go higher until you go to forgiveness. Now, on the scale of forgiveness that David Hawkins has created, the scale of consciousness, right next to it, it says life process. In life process, it says reasoning, right? So what we have to do is reason why we are in the position that we're in, right? And a good reason is we're struggling financially. We don't know why. Well, it's because, just like in the description, money is energy. And that energy creates the cash flow into your life to allow you to be the very best that you can be. But you've got to adhere to the energy. You've got to vibrate with the energy, right? For some, it's easier than others. But for lots of people, it comes down to what are you holding in? Money is just a beautiful love current that is an extension of your own energy yield, right? It's an extension of your own energy yield. That's all it is. So when we realize that, and forgiveness creates one thing. Forgiveness creates love in a situation, whether it be for yourself or for anybody else involved. It always creates love. And where there is love, there'll definitely be money not too far behind, because love is abundant. Love is full of flow. Love is prosperous, right? So getting back to the whole coronavirus example, you take all that stuff and you say, you know what? I forgive Donald Trump. I forgive Joe Biden. I forgive the government. I forgive the IRS. I forgive my employer. I forgive everyone. And most importantly, I forgive myself for blaming them for anything that I have encountered that may seem like it's affecting me from prospering. And you just say, I forgive myself. I forgive myself completely, right? And you can even touch your heart as you say it. But you forgive yourself completely. You forgive yourself so much. But make sure you feel it, that all of a sudden it frees up this energy. It frees up this flow, right? Because money is all about flow. You ever hear them say, go with the flow? When you go with the flow, you're going with the money, right? Money goes with the flow of love unless you get stopped and stuck. And it's when we get stuck when we got to release it. Forgiveness is that task that should be done like we brush our teeth. You see how we brush our teeth and we clean all the stuff out of it on a daily basis or twice daily even? We should do that with forgiveness. Hands down. Forgiveness should be, okay, before I go to bed, I'm going to forgive myself. And ultimately, all you need to do is forgive yourself because you're everything anyway. So by forgiving yourself, guess what happens? You right the ship, right? Even without having to forgive, because everybody else is just actors playing the game of your energy, playing in the movie of your energy, right? And you know what type of movie you're going to get just by the vibration that you're offering to the world. So if you go out into the world and all of a sudden people are trying to kill you, you're probably at a lower vibration. Or people are being rude to you, you're at a lower vibration, right? But you've got to pick that vibration up. And the number one way to do it, I feel like, especially in a situation where angst, anger, resentment, and hatred are present, easiest way to do it is forgiveness, right? And just know, you're doing this for you. You're doing this for you. Forgiveness is for you, right? It's for you, and then it becomes for everybody else, because once you've forgiven all the bad, not the bad, but the lower energy that's inside of you, everybody else benefits, right? This is why we've seen instances where people forgive and literally their debt is wiped out. Or literally the settlement that they've been trying to get for like 10 or 15 years all of a sudden is released. It's because that energy of forgiveness opens itself up, opens the flow, and the money can come right through it. Now, it may be a case where you're not even in a position to where you're experiencing some of the intensities that everybody else is experiencing as far as coronavirus or anything else like that. It may be a case where it's just small things you got to forgive. But guess what? Forgive anyway. If you can create a vibration on the highest level on a daily basis, if you can do that for yourself, I promise you, you'll never lack. You'll never lack financially for anything whatsoever, anything at all. You will never, and I mean you will never lack whatsoever for anything when you practice vibration like you practice breakfast, or you practice brushing your teeth, or you practice eating dinner. And it just takes a couple minutes. I forgive myself completely. I forgive my brother completely. But more importantly, forgive yourself. If you forgive yourself, everything else will become clear and your vibration will raise. It's almost like being catapulted from the bottom straight to the top, because forgiveness creates what? It creates love, and love is what? Love is money. Love is wealth. Money is a love current, right? That manifests itself as cash, as checks, as money orders, all that stuff, right? So when love is present, money is definitely present, and money comes back, right? It's a beautiful thing. Simple concept. All you need to do is figure out, okay, because here's the beauty of it all. And I've been through this like recently, because I've had to forgive myself. And what happens is you hold back that forgiveness, and all of a sudden that pain starts to manifest itself in your body. If you got pain in your body, you need to forgive. I'm not a doctor, but I am divinely connected. I'm telling you, if you have pain in your body, there's something that you need to forgive. There's something that you need to let go of. And I tell you, once you do that, your finances will improve as soon as you let go of it. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Right? When you forgive yourself and you forgive whatever's going on with that area of your body, it's going to open your energy. And as your energy flows, money flows as well. So, with that being said, guys, it is great to be back. I'm excited to really get the ball rolling and do the next 100 episodes. We got a lot of great concepts. I'm writing a book now called Divine Money Truths. Be sure to check out my YouTube channel. It's just Sean Grant. Got a lot of great videos on money, so I think you would love those. My Facebook has a lot of great information. Don't forget Heart of Christ Ministry as well. The money ministry that I created is also brimming with so much information, or more importantly, wisdom, to help you to really get into that state where you can allow money into your life and allow yourself to do so much endless good for you and endless good for the people around you. Guys, it has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me today. Yeah, have a wonderful day. We will talk soon. Take care. Bye-bye.